Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to do things a little bit different. I wanted to interview someone who has come to my attention recently and I've become obsessed with, if I'm honest. And she's known as the Energy Queen, but she's also known as Jaiya Victoria or Jaiya Victoria. Am I saying your name correctly?
I say Jaya, but
Oh,
I like a little
Jaiya.
Spanish flair.
Okay, Jaiya. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so my find like the synchronicity of me finding Jaya was I have been encouraged by my spirit guides for the last, so I would say 2 years to be doing energy work. And they've been showing me how I can do energy work on my own body. And I've been able to do it on friends and family. And then recently they've been really pushing this point to me. And then, as you know, the gods of the algorithm love to send us messages via the algorithm. I swear they do.
Yeah.
And that's how I found the beautiful Jaiya Victoria. And she was talking about energy work. And I can't even remember the first video I watched of yours because I literally binged about 5 in a row once I found your channel. And luckily for me, she uploads regularly. So it's really nice to listen to while I'm doing my horses or my gardening. And also I'm learning a lot because she's been doing energy work for, I believe, professionally the last 5 years, right? Working on people and changing lives, and it's amazing. So I thought I'm not going to talk much more, but I'm going to ask some questions. And I just want to learn all about what you do. So hiya to
Hi.
everyone.
Hi,
This
everybody.
is Jaya.
Hey.
So the first question was, when did you start seeing energy and what was your journey to working with it?
Ooh, okay. Well, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here. And I'm on the big screen now.
Is that
Um,
okay? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
totally.
I'm sorry.
As we were talking about before we started, I'm a Leo, so this is my preference. No, I'm kidding. When did I start seeing energy? Okay, I started seeing energy. Okay, so there are two ways to see energy. The first way is with your third eye. And I think a lot of people have that ability actually. We talked a bit about that, you and I, Helki.
Yeah.
The other way is to see it in the physical world around you. So, for example, to see like you would see anything physical, like I'm always using these pumpkins because they're right beside me, but like this is real, you can see it. And imagine if you saw like a light like flying by, or you saw like a dark thing all of a sudden. That's an ability that I have, and
Wow.
it's very unpredictable. And where that started was, I think in about, well, it really started about 2012. Am I saying the numbers right? I'm so excited to be
You
interviewed.
2012, very
2012, which
interesting.
is a big
Yeah.
year for a lot of
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
That's when
and
I woke up and had started, on my
I have
journey pretty
chills.
much.
Wow. And here we are, like,
Yeah.
and the journey to be here has been crazy. But basically, yeah, I started seeing energy about that time visually. I think it happened a few times before that. Um, I'll tell you about the first time I ever saw anything really visual was my mom was sitting in the kitchen with me in my, where I grew up. And she was talking about my cousin who passed away. He was hit by a car and he was the same age as me and he died when he was 23. Um,
Oh.
and she was talking about him with such like love. She was just talking about him. This was like years after that, but she was just talking about him with such love. And I literally saw a ball of light come from the sky into her heart
Oh my God.
with my eyes. And I was like, what was
Yeah,
that?
so with your physical
With
eyes.
my
I love
physical
that.
eye. And I think
It's
that's, so when I'm
amazing.
talking about energetic sight, I think that's the part of it that people are most interested in. I feel like
Yes.
you're probably really interested in that because it's a bit, I feel like, more unusual. And the crazy thing is too, though, I want to say about this is that it's not like I'm special, truly. Like, that's just how real the energy world is. And not
Yeah.
all of us are, I guess you could say, however you want to put it, but it's just like something can happen where you, I think anybody could potentially see it, to be honest. It's not like I'm seeing something because I'm special. I'm just seeing something that's already there. And why am I seeing it? Well, I can't fully answer that, but I know that there's definitely a purpose to it because I learned so much from it. And that's, I never knew I would have a business or help people, trust me, at
Yeah.
all. Like, this
Wow.
is completely something I couldn't have ever imagined. But it's so rewarding to be able to give people answers because I was somebody who sought answers for deeply for years. And I
Yeah.
mean, your whole life, really. But yeah, I just never knew that, you know, energy was so real. And so that was sort of the beginning. And then what really happened was just to give you some backstory on me and the whole thing, um, that I think could be interesting too, like why can I see energy like this is because
Yeah.
when I was 15, so I grew up like pretty normal. I have four brothers. I'm the second oldest, and I grew up in Canada on the East Coast. And I wouldn't say I was psychic ever, but I was like sensitive for sure.
Yeah.
I used to get, my friends used to like guess and like think of a number between 1 and 10, and I would always be either on the number or one away. So I
Oh,
remember
wow.
that when I was
Yeah.
little and being like, wow, I'm like kind of like psychic, but like
Yeah.
it wasn't like, yeah. And I had deja vu, but I think a lot of people have that. But that was really it, to be. And you know, like it wasn't like I was like a spooky witchy girl, or not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, you know, I was very, I think, regular, normal, but curious for sure. um I also grew up Roman Catholic, Irish Catholic. I'm still Catholic, and I think I felt a deep connection to God. But all that said, when I was 15, I was visiting a family member, an aunt in the west coast of Canada, and we went hiking. And I got this bite. And all I remember from that experience was I had a bite on my butt, basically, and it looked like a sunburn, but it was on my butt.
Yeah.
I was like, how is there a sunburn? And I remember thinking, I bet it's like a spider bite or whatever. I was 15. I wasn't going to show anybody my body. So
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody. I didn't know what Lyme disease was. And
Oh.
when I was 19, a few years later, um, I went through a really hard time for several reasons. And going to the doctor, I figured out like, okay, I'm depressed, like
Yeah.
diagnosed as depressed. The doctor gave me medication. I didn't even know what the word anxiety was till years after that. But at that point, it was like, you're depressed.
Yeah.
Okay. It was really hard to be depressed when no one was talking about mental health yet at that point.
Yeah.
And my doctor basically told me it would be easier for you to have cancer because people are so rally around people with that. And with this,
Yeah.
like, there's nobody. I was like, why are you
Yeah.
telling me this? I'm 19. I'm already depressed. Anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
things have changed. But there's something that happens in your body when you're depressed, and that's that your immune system is not as strong. So I had the Lyme disease in my body, and I was okay for a few years, but then you're depressed and your immune system is suppressed,
Yeah.
and or depressed, you could say. And the Lyme disease at that point basically was able to like take over. And I figured, I've always been kind of like a bit of a wise old soul. And I was like, you know, I'll probably be depressed for like a couple of years and then I'll be okay. I was not okay. I was not okay in a couple of years. I was not okay in a few years. I was not okay in several years. And
Wow.
it just got worse. And I started having severe anxiety. I eventually was like, I'll do whatever. And so I really relate to people who feel like that for whatever reason. A lot of people come to me because they're like, I've tried everything. And I was
Yeah.
totally in that place. I was like, I'm not only depressed, I don't feel like myself. I am anxious at this point. I don't know if I have like a serious mental illness at this point. I went to psychiatrists, I went to
Mm.
thousands of counselors, probably not thousands, but it felt like thousands.
Yeah.
I literally would go to anybody. I took medication for something called schizoaffective disorder because
Oh God, that doesn't sound good. Like the
it was
medication for it.
severe medication. And I remember my mom came to me with that appointment and she was like, my daughter does not have this. And the doctor was like, basically trying to box me into a diagnosis because they just didn't know what was wrong with me.
Yeah.
And Lyme disease, I really feel for people who have it. I haven't been talking about it like as my main thing, but that's a big part of my story because
Yeah.
it
Huge.
is like, yeah, and I could have died. People die from it. It affects every single organ in your body. So flash forward a few years, I got myself off medication at the age of 21 because I was like, this is not the answer. And I feel
Yeah.
suicidal and I'm taking this so I don't commit suicide.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So I was like, you know what? I feel shitty on the medication. I'll feel shitty off the medication. Let's go off it. And I took
Yeah.
myself off it. The doctor said it would be really hard. And it was like literally going through a drug withdrawal.
Yeah.
It
God.
was really hard. And I'm talking about all this because I know this is relatable stuff for some people.
Yeah. No,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, like I feel like I've been through a lot to give me the perspective that I have today. And so, you know, I'm not just like, woohoo, energy.
Yeah, and
Like,
there
it's a
is
lot.
no cure even for Lyme's disease, like it's a real mystery illness, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't understand it, and it just shows that there are things that the medical system and the healthcare system can't help with, and that's why it's so important that there are people like yourself who are providing alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad, he deals with a lot of similar kind of clients because he does
Mm-hmm.
a unique physical therapy kind of thing,
Amazing.
which is called non-surgical therapy. So
Wow.
it deals with the energy, but actually he does physically does it. And like
Cool.
people who were in Zimmer frames are now walking 2 miles a day. And these are people that the doctors said, well, there's nothing more we can do. You have to be on painkillers the rest of your life. So
Mm-hmm.
people might scoff at, work like this.
Mm-hmm.
But the end of the day, what about all those forgotten people who are turned away?
Exactly. And I wanted to give this background too because like I don't want to act like yeah, like I jumped to energy first as the solution even. Like I literally now I look back on all those things and I was like, that was my training ground for
Yeah.
being able to help people. That was my training ground for talking with authority about how energy matters because I tried everything. I
Mm.
went to the doctor once a month and I was like, what's wrong with me? Do all the tests.
Yeah.
And they did all the tests. They couldn't tell me anything. They, based on the tests, they told me I was healthy. They told me, I had people telling me, eat well, exercise. That's about all you can do, unless you want to go back on anxiety medication. And I was like, I can't leave the house. I have agoraphobia now. I feel like I'm dying. I would lay in my bed at night and
Yeah.
feel my physical body like bouncing around the room because my neurology was messed up. And I would go to
God.
sleep sometimes, and this is where I developed a lot of faith. I I went to sleep sometimes literally not knowing if I would wake up. And this was like for
Terrifying.
years I went through this. And the only person at one point was my mother that I had to kind of like be in my corner. I didn't have doctors. The rest of my family, people just thought I was sort of messed up and crazy and couldn't find a direction and whatever. And it was hard for me because I was a high achiever in high school. And so I was
Yeah.
like dealing with that too. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm not this person, but I don't know how to get out of it. And it was literally eating my brain, like my body. And yet I think that shows what a high achiever I am that I got through
Yeah.
it, because it was like,
Yeah.
I was still like, well, then this is going to be my whole life, because I knew that if you seek, you will find. I really held on to that. I was like, if I keep looking. So I dropped out of university because I couldn't even go anymore. I was so sick.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was sick, though. I was just like, I just can't function. I made my job healing. So I read books. I listened to, that's why I'm passionate about YouTube. I used to watch YouTube. I used to try, I tried tapping.
Yeah.
I would try anything. I would read books. I would go to counseling. That was kind of my life. At one point I remember being like, maybe I'll try Reiki. That's, who knows? So I tried
Yeah, it's
Reiki.
not far off what you're doing.
But yeah, I was like, well, let's kind of, so I went into the alternative. When the medical system couldn't help me, I went to like acupuncture and Reiki, and
Yeah.
that to a certain point helped me. And I'll tell you what really gave me the diagnosis and when my abilities really started to open up. So
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic. My mom had a giant poster of the Divine Mercy in the kitchen, which is an image that Jesus had commissioned to a Polish nun in the 1930s, Saint Faustina Kowalska.
Oh,
And
wow.
she actually wrote a diary, and I read that diary, and I used to highlight what Jesus said, because I was like, this is so cool. In the Bible, you don't really hear him talk that much. But in
Yeah.
this book, he's saying all kinds of stuff. And I was like, this is fascinating. So
Yeah. Wow.
I learned a lot from that. I really recommend
I have to look
reading.
into it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And he asked her to have a painting made of him with two rays of light, one blue and one red, representing the blood and the water. Because when they cut him open on the cross, water miraculously flowed out along with blood, like
Yeah.
clear water. So
Wow.
a lot of times we're looking at Jesus dying on the cross, and I think he was kind of like, this is who I really am. I am so merciful. And I want an image that represents that. And the Divine Mercy is celebrated the Sunday after Easter every year. So it's a really powerful image. And the culmination of all the suffering I went through, and suffering is a real word that I would use for what I went through, because it
Yeah.
was when I was at my worst, 70 symptoms, my mind, my body. I
God.
felt like a 9-year-old woman, you know. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was bad.
It's so bad. And the
Yeah.
gaslighting of everyone else, like not
And
seeing
gaslighting
it,
and the whole thing.
not
Yeah, it
seeing
was
it. Yeah, it's torture.
the authority of the world, sort of that whole thing being broken down for me. And I mean, which now I'm grateful for, but lots of things from this to be grateful for, by the way. But
Yeah.
I prayed on my knees and I cried in front of the poster, because it was like, I just couldn't figure it out. Like, there was nothing I could do. There was nothing I
Yeah.
could do. And it was really hard to be alive at that point. But I knew that that was kind of the one thing that I hadn't really authentically tried. So I was
Yeah.
like, hey, I know
Jesus.
that you can fix this. I've heard that you're good at things like this. If you, and I remember I said, though, and I think this is an important lesson I want to throw in here, is like, I really accepted it at one point. I was like, you know what, if I have to suffer and feel like this for the rest of my life, I think that's kind of what I said to him. I was like, if I have to feel like this for the rest of my life, fine. Like, I'll do it.
It's like
I
you let
can't
go.
control this. Yeah, like I literally did. I exhausted every possibility for myself. And if you really want me to feel like this, fine. Like, what am I going to do? Argue with that?
Yeah.
So I really gave it to him, and I was like, you know what? Like, I choose to live. I'm going to live. And if I suffer my whole life, I will suffer. It's fine. Like, because I know that I did everything. But
Yeah.
I just pray that you'll help me. And, I really, really just really sincerely asked for that. And I
Yeah.
put the poster above my bed after that. And every night I would like kiss him on the cheek. I would be like, I know you're going to do something. I don't know what you're going to do. And I swear to you, I think not long after that, a couple of weeks, maybe a month, my mom heard on the radio someone I went to high school with telling his story about Lyme disease. And she was just like, this just sounds like you. And I was like, it sounds too good to be true. Like, it's just, Lyme disease, like, and then
Yeah.
I'll be better. But I was like, okay. And his parents came over to my house that night and they looked at me and they were like, if you don't have this, we'll be so shocked. And I got a blood test and it was conclusive enough that it seemed like I did. And so on my 26th birthday, that was my gift that year. It was like my whole life back, because
Finally, like
I,
an
yeah,
explanation.
I
So
mean,
that,
it was a possibility at that point, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to run with it. I had a whole binder. I was looking for doctors because it was like hard. It's hard to diagnose. It's hard to treat.
yeah,
But
that's what I've heard.
I miraculously found a doctor who treats it with Chinese medicine.
Oh,
Thank you,
perfect.
Lord, because I was not super open to taking a shit ton of antibiotics. And
Yeah.
she had Lyme disease herself. She cured it. She got me off gluten, dairy, sugar. This is now 2013, I think, or
Are you
something.
still off all those things?
Yeah. And she gave me herbs. She gave me green pills to like suck up all the toxins. She knew what she was doing. It's Rebecca. Oh, I don't remember her name. Shit. But anyway, it's that. But that's how long it's been since I've needed treatment. Because
Yeah,
anyway,
wow.
I don't even need treatment now because of my work. But I can talk more about that if you want. But I'm getting to finally the answer that I've been trying to lead to. But there's a lot of backstory here.
No, but it's
That
important, I think, and it will resonate for people, I think, a
good.
lot.
Good. Okay, good. But okay, so that's why I said it. But the thing I've been trying to say is that, listen, like, I thought that I was going to go back to normal. And I think this is kind of like how we felt about COVID. We're going to go back to normal.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no normal after something like that. You
No.
don't go back. You are transformed. You are the butterfly now.
Wow.
There's a
So
new,
true.
yeah, it's not even a new normal. It's a, well, I guess, but it's a new life. And so I thought, oh, I'm getting healthier. My body's recovering. Thank the Lord Jesus. That, you know, and I
Literally.
knew it was him. I like, it was very clear that it was him,
Yeah.
from the timeline. And that gave me a ton of faith in the divine mercy, which is what I work with now in my work. But I started seeing energy. That's the answer that I've been getting to.
Yeah.
That was when I started seeing energy after all of those things. And
And it's like
I,
regularly.
yep, it would be me hanging out with my friends, and there would be like a white thing all of a sudden somewhere, and then I'd see a dark thing flitting by, and I was like, I kind of thought maybe it was like a symptom, or so. I was like,
Yeah.
am I like going? I don't know, like, because a lot of was going on healing my brain.
Especially when you see stuff, it's really easy. When you get the
Yeah.
physical, like spiritual things, it can really feel like, hang on, because well, I had
Yeah.
an eyesight thing once, and it was like on the side of my eye, like
Yeah, I know, like there's a
um,
thing there.
yeah, like it was like the view from the side of my eye was like diamontes, or like if you're looking through a kaleidoscope
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
Yeah, like on the side of my eye, and it was like that. It's happened twice in my life, and it lasts like a couple of hours.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so it went away, and so I didn't think it was anything to do with my vision, but I was just saying, for
Yeah.
example, I totally know what you mean. If
Yeah,
you start
totally.
seeing things, and
Yeah, you're like, what is it my eyes? And then honestly, I ignored it. I ignored it for like, well, let's say a couple of years. And
I don't blame
I
you.
I went, yeah, but I also, this is the other thing that happened along with it though. And your spiritual gifts can be like this. They're not usually just like one, they're kind of multidimensional themselves. I started having really intense deja vu, and I started having, no, that's not the way of putting it. I started seeing flashes of the future.
In
I
your
don't know,
dreams, or just like in your mind's eye.
in the daytime awake, I would
Yeah.
just have a flash of like something that was gonna happen that I wouldn't understand, but it always happened. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is not what I'm used to. And
Yeah.
so I just sort of like watched it. I didn't, you don't really know what to do. You don't know why you get these gifts. Anybody watching, if you have gifts that are developing, you might not know what it's for. And I don't think I think it's revealed to you through time.
Yeah.
Because for me, honestly, I was just like, okay, like, I mean, at that point, I felt like I owed my life to Jesus. I was even alive still because of him. It was sort of like, I trust, like I'm
Yeah.
okay, cool. Like, I'm just grateful to be alive and I don't feel like I'm suffering every moment. Thank you. And if this
Yeah.
stuff is happening, cool. I don't get it, but I don't get it. And so like I really trusted him. So I just watched it and I knew that it would reveal more to me. Um, I went to journalism school, so I finished my degree finally in English, woohoo, and
Well done.
things. I went to journalism school. And it was really funny in journalism school. This is now 2017. Um, I was so psychic at that point that I started taking phone calls, and people spread the word around Canada, like about me.
Yeah.
And I was taking calls from all across the country, being a psychic
That's
while in
awesome.
journalism school. So I was
Yeah.
also like, what is like, like I don't really understand this whole thing, but I was like trying to like live my life and get a career, and I would be in the computer lab writing articles, and then I would like do a psychic call and like
Yeah.
I don't know, interesting, but
I love
um,
that.
yeah, and so it just developed more and more and more. The site developed more. I remember in journalism school, I would see a dark shadow near somebody all of a sudden. And I would be like, that's when I started kind of like trying to understand the
Why?
logic. Yeah, like
Yeah.
why is that there right now when they said that word? Like why
Oh,
did
and
that come up?
it kind of appeared just like comes in certain
Yeah.
moments and leaves again, or it's do you see
Yeah.
like energy completely always attached to someone? Or,
It's fleeting. It's always been fleeting for me. I don't see it like, and it's always fast. It's always kind of like almost like you get this kind of like look at the I would call it the real world. Like you get a look at the energy world, and then you kind of like it's just sort of like a blip. You can kind of like, and
yeah, I
sometimes it's so
totally relate to that. That makes so much sense.
yeah, because I don't walk around like seeing auras everywhere, but like I'll see stuff in the
Yeah, it's
moment.
really quick. Even in your mind's eye, I
Yeah,
find for myself when stuff comes in, yeah, it's very quick.
yeah, yeah. And the energy world moves very fast, but it's
Mm.
very intelligent and communicative. So I started at that point to be like, I think that person lied when they said that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
I
makes
would start to
sense.
kind of like, yeah. And then sometimes there would be a light beside somebody. And by the way, they're always different shapes. They're always different, they always look different. It's not like one box cutter way that energy looks. It's always different. It's always like dark energy can be like a giant shadow. It can be like a little one. Light can be like, I mean, it can be like it can be balls of light. It can be all kinds of things. So it's a variety of, you know,
Yeah.
energy, the way it looks and appears. But yeah, I started to theorize at that point, like, why did that happen when? And like when I first saw it in my mom, I theorized, like, I think that was from my cousin.
Cousin.
I
Yeah,
think
it
it was like
makes
love
sense.
literally coming from him. Like
Yeah.
that, it felt right and it made sense. And the thing about energy too is that it's balls of information. It's like it contains information. It's so you can tap into it, and that's what we call reading energy. And you read energy, right?
That's what yeah, exactly. So that's
Yeah.
what it was like another big interest of mine because I do tarot reading, but I would say I tarot read alongside energy reading. And
Yeah.
my readings actually got really good and resonated really well with people when I really started combining that, like, and not
Mm.
just because before you could kind of focus on the cards and ignore all the feelings. So
Mm.
that's what I want to
Yeah.
explain to the audience is it was so interesting to hear that you see energy because I feel energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like, okay, we're doing the same thing but it's developed differently in us.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't do clearing really I don't think I can't do it to the intense that you can. I can do short-term relief.
Hmm. Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, like not deep wounds, which is that's
My
what's really
specialty.
interesting. Yeah, you do the deep stuff
I love
that
that
can
stuff.
make
Oh,
big
so good.
changes.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I was guided towards you to deal with more of that stuff.
Oh,
Um,
it's so, let me tell you, Helki, like the most fascinating thing about it is like how fast these things can be cleared out of you. And we
I
don't
know
realize,
that's
yeah, we don't realize because we've dealt with them for so long. The energy world is completely different from the physical world. In the physical world, that doesn't make logical sense. I knew I had enough issues when I was sick that I didn't have enough of a lifetime to heal from all of that. Like I knew, like at the rate that I'm healing, I will never heal by the time I'm 90.
yeah. Yeah,
There's
exactly.
not enough
Because
time. It takes
yeah.
like 5 years to heal like one thing.
Yeah, especially like deep traumas and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
don't
And if
even
you
get
have a
me
counseling,
started
it's
on
like,
the cycle of shadow work
yeah,
that
it can, I mean,
you can just be stuck in this hamster wheel of reliving your traumas and never actually healing them. And that's why I was really interested in how you're
mhm,
really about, no, you don't need to carry that stuff. You can clear that, and that's
yeah.
the kind of energy we need in the community, I think, right now, where it's, about shifting and moving. Because for me, one thing that I really pick up a lot energetically is moving energy. So it's
Mhm.
like the issues seem to be it's like a stagnant energy that's not moving, and it's you need like the movement, like the energy needs to like flow, and you can
Mhm.
feel
Mhm.
it flowing,
Mhm.
right? And that's
Mhm.
when you're not going to have resistance in life and blocks showing up.
I
But
like
it,
that.
it feels so like stagnant and like
Mhm.
heavy, and like something like, when you sit on the sofa for like 5 hours and you don't
Mhm.
move, and it's
Mhm.
like really hard to move and painful, and your body feels all weird. That would be the closest I could go to what stagnant energy feels like, which I think is the same thing you call like blocks and negative, right? Would
Yeah,
you
totally.
say that's the same stuff?
It is because it's not alive.
Right.
Positive energy is alive. Aliveness
Yeah.
is
So
positive
it
energy.
moves.
It is animated. It is present. It is like life force. And I think it moves is a good. I've never even thought about that, but I think yeah,
Yeah, I
positive
guess it's
energy.
more of a flow that I'm picking up on, or it just, yeah, I don't know what it is. It feels like a blocked up feeling.
I That's really interesting. I mean, I've seen both positive and negative move, but the negative usually is like literally attacking us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can imagine
I
that.
weirdly like talking about negative energy because I like exposing it. It's
Yeah.
really it does not like me. It attacks me a lot, but I don't fucking care because it is
Does it kind
nothing.
of
It
behave
doesn't
like an entity in that way?
well, okay. There's a lot of words we can use for it, but what I'll say is from watching negative energy
Mm.
is that it is okay, and from looking at it and working with it, it is a void. It's like, in the physical world we have shadow.
Yeah.
Can you pick up the shadow or like do anything with the shadow? Does the shadow itself exist, or is it just like a lack of light?
Yeah. So lack of light, it doesn't really
That
exist.
that's what all negative energy is.
Yeah. It's such a good way to think of it.
Yeah, it's literally a void. So that's why when you say like I feel heavy or I feel, it's really because there's a lack of light in that area.
Mm.
It's not
Mm.
like it's not actually like the words we use are kind of funny, like block, you could say that, but like
Yeah.
it's like, and I use that because people relate to it, but like it's basically like this is just a place inside of your energy where there could be light. This is a place where there could be, like you say, movement. There could be
Yeah.
life force.
Love.
There could be love. There's a positive aspect that is almost waiting to be brought to life
Yeah.
in that specific area about that specific thing. So when we carry trauma, for example, it's like there's just a shadow cast over something that could be positive for you. There's something. So I think it's a smart way to think about negative energy is like it doesn't even exist. It's just like a void. But yes, it does cause problems
Yeah.
because if you don't have life force in certain areas of your life, yeah, it will suck. You know,
Yeah.
like yeah, we do have to deal with it. And
Yeah.
but what I want to say too about this is like they are. It's weird that they're not real, but yet they're sneaky, kind of like there is something that's. I want. I just got the signal not talk about more of that. But anyway.
Okay. Oh,
So for
damn.
example, I just saw a light right in front of me. So I do see like that's something that just happened in live time. Like I saw a light
Yeah.
right here, just like that. Like someone like turned on a light, and it like I said, energy contains information. So what
Yeah.
I do is if I see something now, I automatically tune into the frequency, and it will communicate a message. That's how I
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Right.
The
Yeah.
light, yeah. And it told me, yeah, don't talk about that. And I don't know why,
Okay.
but I'm like,
Yeah. Interesting. I kind of, yeah, know what you
it knows more
mean.
than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, okay.
Okay. No. Awesome. Damn it. We wanted to hear, but that's okay.
There's probably something else we need to get to, I'm sure. Maybe
Um, oh God, I have so much. So we've touched on
we did one question.
we did, but we did touch on other questions in it. So
Oh,
like
good. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
another one was the next question would have been how does it manifest and how does it look like for you? So I think we covered that.
Yeah.
But one thing that kind of came up for me in my head when you were talking was orbs. So
Oh, yeah.
they could like they show up in videos sometimes, like if I'm recording myself, because I do YouTube, I record a lot of videos and I often see orbs
Cool.
around.
Yeah.
um
Awesome.
and I know I see them in my mind's eye, and I know my cats see them all the time. You know, the
Aw.
cats always see in
Yeah.
spirit. um
That's so cool. I love that.
yeah, so I wondered,
Cats
what
are awesome.
do you see orbs as actual spirits? What do you think of orbs? Are they attached to energy? And what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I love that question. I've seen them in pictures too. One time, I don't know if I still have the picture, but I visited New York. That's where I live now.
Yeah.
And you know the Met Museum?
Yeah. Well, I've not been, but I know of it. It's famous.
Yeah, yeah, the Met. You know the Met Gala where they do the stairs and everything. One time I was visiting New York. I think it was 2014 or something like that, and or 2009. And I took a picture of the stairs of the Met. And when I looked at the picture, there was a rainbow orb
Oh,
around the
wow.
whole, like a gigantic one. And I was like,
Oh,
what is that? And at that point, I didn't really even know much about energy, but I just remember showing my family and they were all like freaked out. We were all like, what?
yeah.
But it was like a pretty beautiful one. And so I always think of that even now about the
Like
Met.
an
I think there's something
angel.
really good there. Yeah. So yeah, orbs I've seen in pictures for sure. I think like when you see them in pictures, they're definitely like a spirit. I mean, I think sometimes it's dust on the
Yeah.
lens, but I think
Yeah.
it is real. I think that it's just a fun way for them to like, this is just me talking, but like fun way for them to kind of like appear without freaking us out too much. Cause I think we would
Yeah.
be freaked out if we saw like too much.
Yeah.
But but yeah, like the energy world is so active around us all the time. Like I only see glimpses, and in terms of orbs, I think like the balls of light that I see are probably maybe those you could count as orbs. There is one light I see, which is a blue light.
Mm.
I guess that could be counted as a little, it's like a little one. And that's Jesus for me. I always know that's Jesus. I don't know why. I
Oh,
just
wow.
see the blue light. And again, it's with my eyes. I know that it's him. And he'll tell me things because, again, like, um, energy contains information. So if I'm seeing that, I'm always like, what's the message?
Yeah.
It's like a
And does
energy.
it come in as a download? So like you're like, yeah, you like focus on tuning in for the information, and then is it just sort of like
Mhm.
maybe if does it come in as a visual, mind eye visual, or do you hear words in your mind's voice?
I think
Um
Yeah, I think
Or is it just a download, like an instant, I just know this?
I think it's sort of like a download, yeah, you could say. Because
Yeah.
it's like, honestly, that's the way I live my life every day. It can be a bit stressful, and I think I've gotten used to it, but like the choices we make at any point in the day are very important.
Mm.
So, I've learned to really be obedient to the energy world, the positive energy, obviously,
Yeah.
because it's there to help all of us, and it's there to help you, even if you can't see it. Um, it's around you all the time, speaking to you through your intuition. You know, really trust those things, test them out yourself, develop your own language with the energy world. I've just developed my own way of communicating, my own communication style.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, like, that's just part of my day, to be honest. Like, I'll see something and I always know I'm seeing that for a reason. It's not random. So if I see a
Yeah.
light, like I did talking to you, it's like, what's the message? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Move on to something else. Okay. If I see a blue light, okay, Jesus, what's the message? But it's
Yeah.
so instant. Like, I don't ask.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's kind of just like the energy is, energy is information. So it's like, I look at it and I just, what is the message? I receive the message and then I listen, because you don't have to listen. But it's like talking to the creator of everything who knows everything. So, like, yeah, you should probably listen.
Yeah. Oh God, I really want to ask some about Jesus and
Yeah,
being a Catholic and stuff, but
sure.
quickly, because while we're still on the energy work, I wanted to ask. So, what does the right when we did a little consult together, so you drew a picture of me and then drew where the negative energy was showing. So
Mhm.
I wanted to see if you could explain like your process, because that's very unique. Like
Mhm.
I love the way you do it. And
Thank
it's
you.
very unique. And so, but then you also seemed like you weren't looking at my energy until you were like, okay, I'm going
Mhm.
to open up
Mhm.
your energy. So like, just if you can quickly, if it's not too private, just
No, I love it.
explain
Mhm.
your process when you're working one-on-one with a client, and
Mhm.
but particularly, how do you see their energy? How does that work for you? And also, like, is if you're like out and about, like some psychics and stuff might get like information about someone, and then do they just go and say something to them? And does that affect your life when you're out in the normal world? So yeah,
And
go ahead.
I
Go
don't know
ahead.
if you'd call New York normal, but
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, in the New York world. Well, okay. So the first part of that I'll say is, yeah, I do. When I'm talking to people in sessions or even in consults, I do free 30-minute consults right now. You can find the link on all my videos in the description. But basically, I will say things like, I don't know yet until I look at your energy. And that's because if I'm
Yeah.
talking to you like I'm talking to you right now,
Yeah.
I know the difference between talking to someone like, and I just say whatever, or like say what I think, or intentionally like doing what I just explained with any energy that appears to me that's positive and is speaking to
Yeah.
me. It's like I'm gonna read your energy. And I think that's part of the reason why I call my business Energy Queen, is because the Energy Queen is like my spirit identity. Like, I know it doesn't make sense in the physical world, especially for someone from England, to be like, hey, I'm the queen of the energy world. But, and I would never, I even at one point, to be honest with you, in the past couple of years, I struggled with the identity Energy Queen, because I was like, that's crazy. And like, that is possible. If I believe this, that's possibly problematic.
I love it, but
But
maybe it's because I'm a Leo.
I know. But, but I came to terms with it because I thought, who am I to decide? I mean, the energy world is just so different from our world. And who am I to say I'm not the energy queen? Who am I, you know? And if I'm helping people, and if the stuff I say helps people, then like,
And teaching it as well. So
yeah, I
yeah.
love teaching. I really love teaching. I really, really do. So it's exciting for me. And, you know, through my story of suffering, it's exciting for me to free people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's joyful, you know,
Yeah, definitely.
and so to be somebody who I don't know why, but that's why I keep showing up too, is because I don't see any, and I watched for a few years, is anybody else gonna show up and talk about the stuff I do? And honestly, just nobody did. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, okay, then I'll show up, because it's like I don't think anyone else is gonna do this in the way that I'm gonna do it. And I think we're all like that. We all have something very unique, and like it also makes it exciting. And you know, I don't worry about competing with anybody anymore, because it's like I just have my totally own thing. And I do believe at this point, like I have something really special as, I guess, the spirit identity, which is the energy queen, which is like the queen of, I don't even know what I want to say, the energy world. But it's, to me, what it means is that I reign over negative energy. I clear negative energy. I
Yeah, I
clear
love
it.
it.
Like I literally don't give a fuck. Like I
Yeah.
clear it. It's gone. And
But that's so powerful.
yeah,
Like, honestly, it's such a breath of fresh air because I feel like, people are so held back by
yeah,
these blocks and these traumas and I sometimes do feel like the spiritual community and the religious community can kind of capitalize on that a little bit, like people's pain
so much.
and use it
Yeah,
to keep them, in a
yeah,
certain place in
yeah,
life.
yeah.
And I just like that what you're offering is,
Resurrection.
to for things to yeah, exactly. And
It's
I
like
loved your
there, it doesn't have,
resurrection video.
yeah,
But yeah, like for people to be free to move forward and to not be telling this story of it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. It's
mm-mm.
like life's too short for that.
Yes. And I think one thing that Jesus taught me through the resurrection is like, you're here for a reason. Like,
Mm,
I want you to do that. And so the longer
yeah,
you take to do that, like you're only on the earth for a number of years. Like, when are we going to get to it?
yeah,
I felt like I wasted a lot of time, even though now I know I didn't. But I felt a little bit like that's why I embrace every day as much as I can now, because it's like I know what it's like to live and not even do anything for that day and the next day and weeks and months and years. Like
yeah,
you don't do anything. And
yeah.
so it's like, but your question was, yeah, what's my process like? So what I'm saying is like the energy queen is sort of like a different frequency inside of myself that I tune into. And the queen like is the one who can, like, it is my spirit, but it's like I can kind of tune into that
Mm,
place. And she's
yeah.
very direct and very loving and
Mm,
very, very much doesn't give a fuck about negative energy, because it doesn't exist. Why are we giving it any power? It doesn't exist.
yeah.
Why are we giving it our lives? Why are we giving it even one more minute? Like she's really like that. And that teaches me all the time, because I'm like, it's true. And
Yeah.
so when I work with somebody, I'll talk to you and, you know, we'll chat. But like when I go into the queen energy, that's when I'm going to come to it from that place that there's a gift that
Mm,
I have. And there's something that, you know, I'm there to be like a clean sweeper of the negative energy.
yeah.
And it's like getting a facial for your soul. It's like doing laundry for your
Yeah.
soul. Today, when I did a session on myself, my sessions are always evolving. The tools I use are always evolving. Today, I'll start speaking faster when I get into the queen energy. So I might start like being really fast, but because the energy is higher. And
Yeah.
so today when I did my session, I'm always asking like, Jesus, please tell me to like do this better and faster. And, you know, it's hard to work on yourself sometimes. Um, so basically he said, you know, detach your spirit from your body a little bit and then move it over to the right. And I'm laying down, right? And then
Yeah.
basically I use the blood of Christ as like my major tool in the energy world that dissolves negative energy, like a
Wow.
chemical reaction. I call what I do energy queen alchemy. It is literally alchemy, and the results are instant. They're
Yeah.
also layered and, you know, can progress through time. But that's why I do more than one session with people. I always do a minimum of 3 because there's an arc to your progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, but the dissolving is instant. It's a chemical, you know, alchemical reaction. That's why I call it alchemy in the energy world, which is a very real place and creates the manifestations in the physical world. So
Yeah.
anyway, I move my spirit over. I dunk it in basically a vat.
Yeah.
This is in the energy world, but it's real.
Yeah.
The vat of the blood of Christ. He is so generous
Wow.
with his blood. And I basically did laundry with my soul in the blood of Christ today.
Ooh. Wow. So
Because
powerful.
it is, and it feels really good. and and it's funny, like all these, the ability to do these things in the energy world authentically in a way that actually works. The secret is that you need to have strong belief. And so the reason why I prefaced everything I'm saying now with my story is because you can tell that that story and the way that Jesus finally answered my prayer gave me belief. And so when people work with me, the
Mm.
reason why my work is so powerful is because I authentically have actual belief in the blood of Christ and its healing power, in the divine mercy. I actually believe it. And you're literally paying me for my belief.
Like
Because,
honestly, I'm so glad you said that because
yeah,
I'm 100% with you in believing that belief and faith is the most powerful tool we have in this life.
mm-hmm.
And, you
And you
know,
can't
like
fake
if you
it.
believe something strong enough, you can do it, even if
Yes.
it's
And
fly. And if you
yes.
really believe it, like I'm there with you. Like I really believe this to be
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, and the reason why is because in the energy world, the way that you move energy, and I feel like a wizard every time I say this, but the
Yeah.
way that you move energy, and I think there are people in, you know, in the history who've known this, the way you move energy is with your belief. Energy is belief. Like it is a belief. It is, like I said, information, but it's really a belief. You can move energy with beliefs, positive and negative. You can, like, for example, if I'm laying there and I believe I can put my soul in a vat of the blood of Christ, and I believe in the power of the blood of Christ to dissolve any negative energy, then it will happen. But if I don't believe that, I've done sessions on myself that aren't super powerful because I'm not focusing it hard enough on the belief. The belief is the literal fuel to literally take an energy from here to here. It is the fuel for somebody like me to go into you and grab something out of you and dunk it in the blood of Christ. And not only do that, but have the reaction actually take place. The
Yeah.
belief is the magic, it's the fuel, it's the real change. And so that's why I'm saying you pay me for my belief, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And yeah, and so my story is demonstrating where that strong belief really came from. And that I think a lot of people who work with energy, I mean, we're all different,
Yeah.
but like, I do think there's something magical and special about working with the with Jesus and also understanding energy in this deep way, because I think that people have gifts but they might not even understand the mechanics of the energy world or the gifts. And I think that really does make me different. Like I'm such a scientist with energy.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not good at chemistry, or I was never good at any of those sciences. I'm like an artsy like writer, but and a comedian actually in New York. But I understand, like I have a natural gift to really understand the mechanics of the energy world. And it's a very logical place, just like the natural world. There are laws that govern it. One of those laws being um, you can move energy with your beliefs. That's why, like you said,
Yeah.
if you really
So
believed you could
powerful.
fly, you would, because, but it's like, how would you authentically really believe that? And then this
Yeah.
comes into a deeper discussion about like delusion and mental illness. But like that, I know that is true, that if you have an actual belief, I can do this and move this here. Like when I go in sessions now with people after 5 years of doing this and working with people, you know, I have a strong belief I can go in, I can, that's why when you talk to me in your consult, right, I can draw your energy and I believe I can and I do. And
Yeah.
basically what I'm doing at that point when I'm in the queen energy and I'm telling you things, is I have the ability now to stop thinking, because your thought is not where you're getting the information. You're getting the information from the energy world. So it is like you become a channel. You just
Yeah.
become a pure channel. You get your mind out of the way. And I
Mm.
never think when I'm talking to people from that place. And I'm not really thinking right now
It's
either.
very
I'm
much
in
a
that
psychic
flow.
ability, because it sounds a
Yeah.
lot about like psychic readings, tarot readings that I do.
It's not
It
about your
is
mind.
almost like you're a channel,
Yeah.
and you do have to like get yourself out the way, which is the hardest part, to
You're a
be honest.
translator. Yeah, you're translating the frequencies that you're in touch with. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, like even right now, like my mind is not active. That's probably why I talk fast, is because I'm trying not to get caught up in my mind. I'm just purely
Stream of
trying to
consciousness.
translate, yeah, like ideas, frequencies, things that in the fastest, purest way possible for people to hear them and digest them and take them in. And I want to say to everybody listening, like, this is my soul speaking to yours. And this is not stuff that your soul doesn't know, because just like we all live in the same natural world, we all know
Mm.
what a tree is. We all know what the sun is. We all know the way things work. Same thing
Yeah.
for the energy world. We all live in the same energy world. Your
Yeah.
soul knows all of these things. And
Mm.
so I'm really just like a reminder. And I think, like, yeah, when people listen to me, I always feel like I'm not teaching so much as reminding.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that so much. It's so true. And I always say this, like when I'm an old lady, when we're old, like, don't you think the world's going to look so different when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to energy, that it will probably be something, well, I hope that it'll be something that is taken seriously and actually
Yeah.
looked at as a healing method, you know?
Totally. I mean, honestly, I feel like our job at this point is just to be pioneers, and like I've been doing it all along. I'm still have the same attitude. Like, I don't really know where it's
Yeah.
gonna go from here, but I just know, like, I
It's
trust.
following the
I'm just
calling. You
yeah,
are
you
being
just
called to do this and being given this
yeah.
gift.
Yeah. And even like I never knew I would be talking to you. I never knew. I mean, I don't know, but like it's like you just keep kind of working where you're at and keep, and I mean, it honestly just gets more exciting. There's always I feel like there's always going to be more to learn. And it's such a delight for me to like bring these ideas to people while you're on earth, because when you die, like, you're going to see everything. But like while
Yeah.
you're on earth, it can make your life so much more impactful and effective, and yeah, help you be the person you're supposed to be here and not be like suffering. Like, I honestly am so delighted at bringing people healing, whether it's I've healed people physically. I don't take treatment for Lyme disease. Like you said, you can't cure it, but like I believe I don't have it anymore, because negative energy is the cause of everything negative on every
Yeah.
level. So that includes disease. So I don't take treatment. I'm fine. I'm probably healthier than ever. I've healed food
Amazing.
sensitivities in myself. I like, I couldn't eat dairy before, and now I can. I don't, but like I can.
Yeah.
I used to break out, and now like I can eat dairy. Yeah, and like I've healed people's mental illness. I've gotten people off medication, physical pain,
There is an
depression.
energy around food, though, just touching on the food thing.
Yeah, oh,
So I
totally.
do think
Yeah,
there is like negative energy attached to animal products, just like there just is. And
I'm
it's
vegan.
no judgment to people who eat it and stuff, but
I
it
have
does
friends
have
that
an
do.
effect on your body. Like dairy's particularly, like energetically, I think one of the worst foods.
I joke that I have some judgment, because if you look at my Instagram, I'm always posting about vegan stuff, because like
Oh, are you vegan?
I'm vegan. Yeah,
Oh my
because
God, I'm vegan. So
yeah, right. Because like that
shut
was one of the
up.
first things that happened of the suffering. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to eat suffering energy. I wanted to get to your question too about the being out in the world. Do you mind if I talk about that?
Yes, yes,
So,
definitely.
yeah, being out in the world is, it's funny you say like you go from, in your house to the normal world, but it's all the same. I go
Yeah.
out on the train and I'll see dark energy. I'll see, dark energy, light energy. I actually have a job as a hostess in like a restaurant in the West Village right now. Sometimes
What?
I'll let go like that, because I'll see.
Yeah, I was going to say you must meet some real mix of energies.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll be like what was that? But it's like a
Yeah.
dark thing that I tell the people I work with. I'm like, they know, like, I'm like, I saw like this big dark energy. Like, I don't know why. But I honestly clear them as much as possible, because why not? I
Good
asked
for
for
you.
protection. Yeah, I asked for protection daily. I pray to my guardian angel. That's kind of a new thing I'm doing daily, nightly. I think these are things everybody should do because, again, if you saw the stuff around you, you would want protection, trust me. And negative energy can come, right? Yeah. So I don't want to scare people, but like it I don't want to like get too far into it. You can watch my videos for like deeper explanations, but
Yeah.
negative energy can't come into you without your permission. But it tries to mess with us. So like, I think having protection is really important, and you can have protection just by asking for it. Just ask for it.
Yeah.
Ask your angel, ask Jesus, just ask for protection every single day, because it's like, it literally will help you feel better the whole day and literally keep some crap out of you that you
It
don't want.
really does. I only started really taking protection work seriously this year. So I've definitely noticed a difference.
Good. Yeah. It's real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask though,
Yeah.
because you've mentioned being a Catholic and
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. And I think I forgot to mention at the beginning that that was another synchronicity for me, because
Yeah.
people who've watched my channel will know that I have a connection with Mother Mary, and I work with Mother Mary all the time. She's a massive comfort to me. And I've also had an experience with Jesus, and I also did post about that on my channel. And you can
Wow.
imagine coming from an atheist background and then finding my own path in paganism. It was a massive shock for
Oh,
these people to come through, these energies. And because I had no
yeah.
attachment to that religion.
That is so interesting. Yeah, that
Yeah,
you
like
reject
weird,
it.
like I don't know anything. I've never read the Bible.
Interesting. Just the pure energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was life changing. Like
Wow.
literally, after my Jesus experience, I couldn't talk about it for like a month without breaking down in tears, because
Mm.
it was so impactful. Like I've never felt that much love in my life, and yeah, it was insane. And Mary, like, is a constant. She's here for me when I call her, through
So
really
cool.
tough stuff. But so then seeing you had this connection, so
Yeah.
again that felt like a synchronicity. But then I'm like
Mhm.
thinking, with my content and stuff and my path, obviously I've been drawn towards Jesus and Mary in a spiritual sense rather than a religious sense.
Yeah.
And I do get a lot of kickback from Catholics
Oh,
and Christians,
okay.
because then they are anti witchcraft or anything.
Mm.
So I feel like I would love to ask, like, how do you, feel about that stuff? Do you like, because I don't feel any judgment from you. Um, yeah. So, but you've got a very strong faith, and you still identify as a Catholic. And I don't know enough about the religion, but is it okay that you see energy? Like, I wonder, like, one, you're okay to work with people from all walks of life, obviously, because
Definitely. Yeah.
most people listening right now are probably witches or pagans.
What's up, my
Um,
witches?
yeah, and also I must mention that you have a past life as a witch.
I do.
Yeah, so
Hello.
my witchy friends, she is one of us in spirit.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so
totally.
I love you to sort of talk about briefly, because I feel like you have spoke about it, but just like your thoughts on that, and like how
Mm.
you see that, like the difference of faiths. And yeah, I don't know exactly like how to approach it, but I love your openness, and that I can share my connection with Mary and Jesus with you, but coming from a totally different background and religion. So.
Okay. I want to explain one thing before I say anything. If you hear me whispering Jesus, thank you, it might not, but
Yeah.
I do it really sneakily, but it's because dark energy comes,
Oh, okay.
that's
Okay.
when I say it. Cause
Yeah.
I have little tricks like that. Like I have to do, it's not like a tick, but like I see dark energy come into me sometimes.
Yeah.
And why is it coming into me right now when I'm about to talk about this issue, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because
So
we're talking about witchcraft and stuff.
well, it's because I think there's, this is something else to know about negative energy is it attacks threats to it. It attacks light shining
Yeah.
in the world. So I'm excited to say what I want to say. And the reason
Okay.
why I say Jesus, thank you is because my belief is that if I say that, he will dissolve it. I don't have time to like
Yeah.
always, right? He's more powerful than me. I literally just say, Jesus, thank you. And I trust that he has already dissolved it the moment I say it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
It's powerful.
that's why I talk to myself a little bit in my videos, but I'm really talking to him. Okay, so what I want to say about this is that I have a strong belief from, all the things I've learned in watching energy. One of the main things I talk about is the feminine and the masculine. And what I've learned, and I think one thing I'm meant to, like a medicine I'm meant to help bring to people, is that the energy world is not a place of division the way that we create division. It isn't. It is a joyful world of love. That's it.
Yeah.
And God created crystals, God created energy, God created the chakras, God created, like, these are his beautiful creations. And there's religion and there's spirituality, sure. Religion to me is not a bad thing. It's like a tradition.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
mention that I'm not just Catholic but Irish Catholic, because I have lots of traditions in my family that are just about being Irish. Those are just things that have been passed
Yeah.
on. There's trauma
Yeah.
too.
I
We
have
don't
the
let people know.
Irish
Yeah, like,
history too.
yeah, there's trauma, there's good things, there's love of music, there's love of creativity, there's a sense of humor, which you probably pick up on.
Yeah.
Lots of things. Part of, what gets passed on to us is also going to church and Sunday school and, getting baptized. And I don't think you're bad if you're not somebody who grew up Catholic. Like, why would I think that? You might grow up with like, that's just my family, right?
Yeah.
You grew up with your family and you have lots of traditions, religious and non-religious, whatever, like,
Yeah.
because of who you are. And our identities are specific and beautiful and give us different perspectives. You have a completely different perspective from me, and that's so beautiful. And the things you talk about, I don't talk about. So a lot of things I say, you don't say. It's like, that's just the
Yeah.
variety. We're all experts in our own way, and our voices are all so powerful and needed. Who am I to say if you're not Catholic, you're wrong? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, because it depends on who raised you and where you grew up. So, what really changed things for me, I honestly didn't even have a strong relationship with Jesus my entire life, which is hilarious, right?
Yeah.
Given all the
Yeah.
things I'm saying now. I didn't know who Jesus was as a kid. I was kind of like, who is this guy? I was kind of freaked out by it. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I
Dead
really
guy
didn't.
on a cross. Scare
Yeah,
most
it's like
kids.
dead and like, okay, you guys are a bit much. Like, I just like, it didn't honestly come naturally to me. It just
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, I don't understand. I get that this guy, I get the story, I get it. But always for me, I felt more like I related to Mary. I related to God. Mary felt really safe because she was a mother.
Yeah.
Um, I think I felt really connected to Mary, to be honest, and God, because you can feel God, the
Yeah.
spirit of God. Everybody, that yourself. And so it was the stuff even though I was taught all this indoctrination, like doctrines and whatever, theology, like I think what you take away from that as a grown up is like what was real for you. And what was real for me was like, yeah, the Spirit of God and Mary, and this experiences I had directly with those feelings of love. And that was real for me, whether I was in church or not.
Yeah.
So when I, for example, was really sick and dying basically, and I prayed to Jesus, it was because of that. I had enough belief from my own experiences of God. That I didn't do that because the church told me to. I did that because I felt that there was something real.
Yeah.
That I knew was real because I felt it. And so that's what I'll say about your relationship with God or Jesus or Mary or anybody or anything. It's like nobody can give you belief, no one can give you faith. But if it's real, then it's something that you can connect to. And that's how you learn. And that is how I developed a new relationship with Jesus specifically, because he showed up for me, you know,
Yeah.
like he saved my life. And so that is now deeply ingrained in me. And I started to have experiences with the energy. Who is this energy? I've heard this, like, I've heard thousands and millions of hours of stuff at church, but like, who is this? And I got to know him energetically. And when I got to know him energetically, you guys, like, you know him. You know him already. This is the highest energy you ever feel within you. It's the energy of love. It's so powerful. And you know
Yeah.
it. You know
So
it when you feel
safe.
it. It's just so amazing. And there are no
It's
words.
not judgmental at all.
Not judgment at all. It is literally like, what are you obsessed with? That's what it feels like. What are you obsessed with? I wish I
Yeah.
could do it justice, but it's like, I can't even, the Spirit of Jesus has to come in and you have to speak for yourself. But I'm trying, it's like, where have you seen the most love in the world? Where have you seen the most incredible miracles? Where have you seen the most joy? Where have you seen the most badass excitement? Or like, pop culture is filled with the resurrection. We love a comeback. Give us a comeback. Jesus is
He's like
flashy.
so pro energy work, I feel, as
So he
well.
taught me to do what I do. Like,
Yeah, right?
and and he is so, the resurrection is such a fucking like um what's the word, it's like so sassy.
Yeah.
It's sassy because it's
You
like,
did a
hey
great
bitches, you thought
video.
you could kill me and now I'm back. Like, how
Yeah.
badass was that? And like, they killed him and he came back. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
That's
God, like it's
faith.
over. You know, like, and you think about like, you even think of drag queens being like slay, and like that kind of like, just like, pride isn't the right word, but like, just like knowing
Confidence.
you're made in the fearless image of God. Like, you are like incredible. And just owning that. You should own that. And so Jesus is so many incredible things that reflect in our world that we love. And that's who Jesus really is. So it's like, to me, it's like, when we talk about separation, we're talking about things that we have done to kind of, I think, create a lot of control in society. I think a lot of it comes from times where there was people trying to control people out of fear. Like, yeah, you will be guilty and you will go to hell if you don't do this. But I think what they were
Yeah.
really trying to do is control people.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
definitely.
get power for themselves was a big part of it. I looked into the witch trials for comedy reasons because I wanted to write more comedy about it because it's so fun for me to tell jokes about it.
Yeah.
Knowing that I actually went through it in a past life. And yeah, a lot of it was just like, I think sometimes people out of fear, and I think Donald Trump is an example of this, I'll just be blunt. Like, sometimes people out of fear of their mortality try to soothe themselves with more power, thinking that
Yeah.
that will create immortality for you somehow, when deep down you're just afraid. And I know that very well from my work. Like, none of us is powerful enough. We like, God is like the battery charger for an iPhone, and we're the iPhone. Like, it's like you need that.
Yeah.
And um, basically, like, so when I mentioned feminine and masculine, the feminine is all the spiritual, the masculine is all the structure of the physical world.
Mm.
So there's nothing wrong with church. There's nothing wrong with going to church. I still go to church. I still get the Eucharist. I love praying the rosary. I pray the rosary every single day. I
I
pray
love
the
that.
Divine Mercy every single day. There's a chaplet for the Divine Mercy you can pray. And um, I think those are wonderful things.
Mm.
Especially getting the Eucharist, you're actually eating the body of Christ. So like, that's, imagine, very good for your energy. But the energy world is like constantly relevant. And I think that even when I go to church, I see it now through energy. It's like I just said, like, I get the Eucharist
Yeah.
because like that's literally changed into the body of Christ, and you now consume it. Like, that's going to be real good for you. That's going to be really protective for you. That's going to really get you on the right track inside of yourself. Um, Extremely healing. I think that the Catholic Church is full of so much energy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, they even bless the wine so it turns into the blood of Christ and we drink it. Like, hello, that sounds like my work, right?
Yeah.
So like, and prayer, the cadence of prayers are very intricately created so that they do things to your energy. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
Mm.
Like, these, even the words of those prayers, like, and these prayers don't come from us, they were given to us. Even the
Yeah.
Divine Mercy Chaplet was given to Saint Faustina by Jesus. There's energy work happening, it's interwoven in all these things.
Yeah.
So like, what I do is just part of that, basically. What we call witches, even, I don't even know what that means, to be honest. Like,
It's literally just a human who knows how to manifest, pretty much, who works with the elements
yeah.
and the earth to put their intention forward.
So
That's what
how,
it is.
yeah. So how is that different from anything I just described?
Praying to a Christian God is not much different. Like, I don't see it as different. And I just love everything that you said. And it really is really nice to also, I do want to say that I do love the Catholic churches the best. There's in the south of France, it's all about the Catholic Church, and they
I
have
know.
some really
Yeah.
beautiful churches, and I love the energy.
No.
But it's so nice to talk to you
Yeah.
and someone who um, can sort of give credit to my experience from your perspective without making it then you have to convert. Because what it was for me is like when my Jesus experience happened, I wasn't even trying to make it happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was for about an hour, I was doing energy work. It was during COVID, the lockdown, and I was just sending healing to my horse. And then I thought, I'm not seeing anyone. I'll just stay and send from my heart healing to everyone that I love and miss right now. And it was like right during that he came through, gave me this most amazing experience. And what was I doing? I was focusing on love and
Mm-hmm.
healing towards other people selflessly.
Yeah.
It's very much, and he showed up because I, in a sense, even though I'm a witch, I am doing the Lord's work, right?
There you go. Yeah.
That's what his message is. And that's what I try and
Yes.
say to Christians is like, you know, it's because they try and say it's a demon that come to me. It's like, it's not. Like, it's, trust me, like, this is energy of, you couldn't get more pure light, and it's nothing but encouraging messages of love and acts of service. And if it was a demon, that it would be taking me towards selfish means, or, to hurt people. And, so it's like, I know it's pure. So it's so nice to hear your perspective on this, and how it really is about energy work, and it's so connected to the energy world, and how it's a positive thing that can affect everyone, no matter your religious background.
Yeah, well, it all comes down to negative energy is fear. So if people are being judgmental, that actually can be negative energy. Yeah. And so it's these twisting things that we deal with.
That's demonic in a sense.
That is, yeah, exactly. So you have to be really discerning for yourself. So this is the thing I want to say too, is that we're not perfect as humans, and we can pervert anything. We can pervert religion. We can pervert energy work. We can pervert nutrition. Whatever.
Literally.
You can pervert anything.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to, is it love or is it fear? There are those two types of energy. Jesus is love. You're right.
Right. Exactly.
Fear and judgment and hate is not
the love. People who judge Jesus.
That's the name of Jesus. And you know what? When Jesus was alive, he was exactly like I'm saying. He did not create division. He loved everybody.
Exactly, everyone, whether they believed him or not. Like, that's everybody. The other thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I know that we're running out of time, so I want to be respectful. Yeah. Do you have time for another question or two, or it's fine if you need to go?
There is something I feel I really want to say about witches. It's like, the thing is, like, I know even in a past life, I was technically like hung as a witch, but I don't even know. When I say I don't know what a witch is, I'm not saying I don't know. I'm saying, like, when you look at it in terms of what I just described, of how holistic the energy world is, everything is one. It's like, I think what we call witch, like the connotations associated with that, like when you say I'm a witch, but you describe what you do, it's like, well, what you do sounds kind of like what I do. It's like, we're kind of...
what you do is witchcraft, technically, from a witch's perspective, right? But
that's so funny.
Yeah, so but that's what it is. You're manipulating the physical world with your intention.
So, like,
with your intention.
Yeah,
because Jesus is, he's the king of witchcraft.
Oh my God.
That's problematic.
That he would laugh at that. This is like, the energy world is not a place of fear. So I find they have such a good sense of humor. I think he would think that's funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, like, the best thing you can do is be about love, light, laughter, and positivity. Get your energy cleared and have an open mind, and catch yourself when you're judging people. Catch yourself and realize, like, that's not what Jesus is like. I think. And it's like, if you think everybody has to be like you in the name of Jesus, why? What's so afraid in you? Why can't you be loving and open and love people? And that's what he's like. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's really, the energy world taught me all these things. I don't just make all this stuff up. Like, I have seen this is the way it is. It's like, I think you can pretty much figure anything out moralistically if you look at it through that lens. Is it love or is it light? Even with the US election, it's been kind of hard to be like, who is actually the good guy here? But I looked at it through who talks about love and who doesn't. And it's clear. It's like clear. So it's the same with any issue: abortion, gay rights. Like, is there love? Is it about love? Or is it not? Is it about fear and control and hate and suppressing people? Okay, even if you slap the name Jesus onto that, that's not Jesus.
Yeah.
And I think that's what confuses people about the word and the name Jesus. It's like, they've had a lot of judgment from somebody using that name. I feel really bad for those people when their souls have to go meet him.
Yeah.
Because you know what happened when I was hung as a witch? I'll just end the section with this is, you're hanging by your neck, right?
Yeah. It's horrible.
The moment I died, I was still hanging. My feet,
Mm.
my feet weren't touching the ground, but it's
Ouch.
because Jesus was holding me.
Aww.
It's so beautiful,
And
and
that's so powerful.
he's so full of love, and like when you think about using your gifts of intuition and your whole feminine, the whole feminine side of life has been classified as evil because it's powerful, because you can't
Mm.
control it.
Yeah.
Not bad. What I do is about the spiritual world,
Yeah.
but we need both. Like, both are real, both exist. There's been perversion of the masculine. Masculine isn't even bad. Religion, masculine
Yeah.
structure, not bad. But you
No.
can pervert it. You can use it to say energy's not real and that's evil and I don't agree with that. That doesn't fit
Mm.
in with our indoctrination, whatever. But when you literally talk to Jesus about it, it's like, hey, I created the chakras. Hey, I
Mm.
created the energy world. I created these laws. Hey, I can heal you. Hey, I'm going to take you, me, Jaiya, on this journey
Mm.
where you're going to suffer. You're going to be saved by me. You're going to teach people about me. You're going to heal people using my power,
Mm.
because it's him who heals you. I'm, again, just, you pay me for my belief. You pay me for my skill, my
Yeah.
practice, my experience. But I can't do shit without him. So, like,
And do you believe
what
he
is that?
works through you?
He is like, he can heal anybody in a second. But like, how many of us are really willing to open up to that? Right?
Mm.
He gave me an answer in like 2 weeks. He could heal you in a second though. Because why
Yeah.
couldn't he? He created you. He can do anything.
Yeah.
How many of us are really willing to like let in that blessing? You could, but it's more like, I open up to the knowledge of who he is, the power that he is, like the power of his blood, which already dissolved all negativity on the cross. I just really, it's like, it's all there. The healing is all there. And
Yeah.
so what I do is I just bring people into contact with it. It's kind of like, like the saints had, or like, a lot of people have healing power, actually. A lot of them through the name of Jesus. A lot of saints are known for healing people. Did they heal the people? It's like, it's just like you have a close connection with the guy
Yeah.
at the top.
Yeah. And I would say like
So
witches is a
yeah,
healer would be another word for a witch. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if you was doing this similar work you're doing now back in your past life as a witch,
exactly.
because
Like,
that's what they would have called you a witch if you were doing any kind of
there
healing
you
people,
go.
even if you were giving people herbs to
There you
help
go.
them with a cough, then any kind of thing like that. So I think it's like a healer. There, something about healers is a strong connection to Jesus. Like
Yes.
if he came through for me, then that shows how real he is. Like,
Well, and get in touch. Like, why would you not go to the most powerful energy possible? He is the most powerful energy in the energy world.
yeah,
And the thing about healing too is like, listen, if you are healing people, why would Jesus not want that? That's
yeah,
what he wants. So
exactly.
like,
That's what he did.
that's what he did. So it's like,
Yeah,
I think where people get stuck on like witch stuff is like, if you're disconnecting yourself from Jesus, could that become problematic? I think like what I said, you have to keep in mind, like, are you making yourself God? Are you saying you're doing it of your own power? I mean,
yeah,
to me, it's just like not as effective as you could be, because where did you even come from? It's like, honestly,
yeah,
they're so much smarter than us. That's the way I look at it. It's like, I could actually, and I think I have actually, and I've been on a journey with my business, like being like, I'm the energy queen. It's all about me and how powerful I am. And I remember people even being like, wow, you're so powerful. And me being like, yeah, I know. But like that honestly led me to a dead end. I was not powerful enough. And
yeah,
that's my experience, where I now talk more about Jesus because that's just the truth and it's always been the truth. And I had to kind of like admit it to myself too. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm totally a genius with energy, but like, I don't know anything without him. I didn't know anything without him. I can't do anything without him. If I didn't have him, I couldn't do anything. Like,
yeah. He's
that's
your
the point I'm
main
at right now. So
mentor.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. So like when people work with me, I'm aware that like, I deserve to be paid for my, people sometimes ask why people have to pay me to work with me. Why don't you just heal people? But like, I mean, it's like you're paying me for my belief, you're paying me for my experience, you're paying me for my time, all those things, right?
Yeah.
But
And for
also,
you to live and
yeah, like that's just part of
have
life.
your
Like,
human rights and
yeah,
not have
like
to work for free.
we pay everybody for everything. So like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like also it's like having, it's sort of like being able to, like, why would you not want to work with someone who could give you miraculous results? Like,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just leave it there. Like, why would you not?
Yeah. Come on, guys. What are you wasting your time? We need to get
I mean, it's
healing.
just available. Like, it's available. And I love that my work requires some faith, because I think that really I mean, I think the biggest takeaway that I'd love for people is not to walk away from my sessions being like, Jaiya is so powerful, but be like, there's something to this Jesus stuff. Because
Yeah.
and then it invites a deeper change in your life for you to get to know him. Because look at what happened with my life.
Yeah.
You're getting to know him. Like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
So,
And even my own life, I can say the same thing.
yeah, it's like, why would you not want your life to get better? And that's all he wants for you.
Yeah.
That's it. So like,
Definitely.
it's just sort of like opening a deeper invitation. I don't try to make people believe anything. I know you can't, but like, I think if your life can get better, that's what we all really want.
Yeah.
And so for anybody practicing witchcraft or anybody open to healing, I would say like, that's really the deeper invitation, is just like, how can your life get even better? How can you get even stronger? And how can you not be threatened by it not being all about you necessarily? Like, you were connected to Mary, you like these, they're so beyond what we even know in this world. They are the stars, they are the moon, they are everything, they are timeless, they are, it's like hard to even call them beings because they're just so beyond us that it's like it really is unfathomable. And that's the word that Saint Faustina used about the divine mercy. It's literally unfathomable, like the love that is there for you. So like, why would you not want to get to know that? Because we all want to be happy in life. And I think that's why people do all witchcraft and do all, like, we just want to feel better.
Yeah. I
So let's
think
just like be better at it. Yeah.
exactly. It's all, I know Jesus always supports me when my intention is always coming from a good place, like a place where I'm wanting to leave the world a better place than it was when I left, or leave this space better than I left, like coming in with a good intention. So yeah, if you're, you get those types of witches that, want to be doing curses and like swimming in a pool of negativity, well, then that's what your life is going to reflect. Because I also think, what's going on internally is going to reflect in your life, and that's something you're seeing in your energy work. They're holding these negative beliefs. That negative belief, that's the same in witchcraft. If you feel you're so focused on the negative that you need to do a curse on someone, which I'm totally against, that kind of stuff, it just shows that you're swimming in it. I just feel, if anything, sorry for you, and I just wish that you to find happiness where you're not wasting your time focusing on those things, because they lead to more negativity. And one thing Jesus has taught me and Mary, is Mary particularly, like compassion for others. But like Jesus is to follow your joy. And what feels like, actually feels good, it feels good to help people. What it doesn't feel good is bringing other people down and trying to make everyone feel bad about who they are, and like that's the negativity. So Jesus supports, in my opinion, like positivity. All right, I know I've really taken over your time. Damn it, we didn't get to the cats, but maybe we can come back and do another interview with whenever you have time. Let me know. Maybe you want to. You can finish the rest of the questions.
Sure. Well, people like this, then have me back. I'll talk more.
Yeah, so everyone definitely, I'm going to leave in the description a link to your channel and your
Cool.
website. And yeah, definitely check out your videos. Like, I've been loving them, and she
Oh,
posts
thank you.
regularly, so that's really nice.
That's so
And
sweet.
definitely look into working with her, especially if you have blocks that you've been trying to clear for a long time, or if you found yourself, you know, in this place of just not being able to get past, like working on your own. Yeah, then you got to call the energy queen.
Let's do it. Get a
Yeah.
free consult and we'll talk.
Thank you for talking about this, because there's one thing doing the work, and then there's another thing raising awareness. So that's like amazing, and I'm very grateful for you.
Oh, thanks so much. You're so sweet. I love you.
I love you
You're such
too.
a beautiful light. Thank you for doing the work you do too. And thank you so much for having me. It's been such a delay. I love talking to you. So thank you so much for the gift.
Then definitely come back and let's talk about cats.
Okay, just cats. Maybe Jesus.
Yeah, cats and more energy stuff.
Okay, cool.